Namaste and welcome to another edition of NHX Viewpoint. Just a couple of years ago, engineering was considered to be quite a booming industry in India, and also the number of technical training institutes have rapidly advanced to almost 9,000 engineering colleges to this day. But in the past few years, we've been seeing that a lot of things have been on the decline. We've been seeing that the number of students in engineering is reducing, and very recently, even the Chief Minister of Telangana, Mr. Revanth Reddy, actually gave a subtle warning to institutions that if you do not produce the right kind of students and the right kind of skill, your permissions may even be cancelled. So what exactly is going wrong with the engineering education segment in India? To discuss, as usual, we have with us Mr. Suresh Kochatil. Namaste ji.
Namaste.
So you've been going through this. In fact, you're also a speaker at quite a lot of colleges, including engineering colleges. We've seen that among the various degrees, like let's say BTech, BSc, BA, while every other stream, the number of students have increased in the past 5 years, when it comes to BTech and BE, which is Bachelors of Technology and Engineering, the number is actually reduced. So what do you think is actually going on? Do you think the demand is reduced? Do you think the quality of colleges have actually reduced? What's your take?
See, one of the things that happened was, let us go back to the history of it. When you look at where the engineering boom started in the 2000s, when the Y2K boom happened, a lot of coders got into it, a lot of people who had minimal skills got into it, because there was a shift of year from the 1900s to the 2000s. So they had to kind of make a change. They had to do with whoever they got. They had no choice. Remember, we had courses called BCA, I think it's still there, MCA and BCAs, apart from BTechs and normal engineering college, which were offered by the regular colleges, the BCAs and the MCAs. Everybody had a job. Everybody got, a lot of people went to US, made a fortune. But what has now happened now is that that entire boom is over. Okay, now it's an era of specialization. Okay, you need to be a specialist. You need to be very good at what you do. So the problem started when the politicians by the dozen started engineering colleges across the board. The erstwhile Andhra Pradesh and now Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, more so in Telangana. If you look at just around Hyderabad, the 5-6 districts around Hyderabad, you will have about 100 engineering colleges. Many of them are today shut down. They don't even have regular faculty. They don't hold classes. They don't have any admissions to speak of. Except for the top 10, I think the rest of them all are struggling. And I'm not saying this. Mr. Revanth Reddy himself stated it, as you said. He clearly said that if you don't perform, I'll cancel your licenses. If you don't upgrade your faculty, if you don't upgrade your infrastructure, if you don't upgrade the quality of your students, because quite often the industry has been complaining, and this is also there in MBA, by the way. A lot of MBA colleges started, especially with AICTE affiliation, not the university affiliation. Even they are equally bad. And the students were taken, and the students had no idea why they were doing an MBA. The only thing that was all parrot about is 100% placement. And that is the biggest fraud, if you ask me, both in the engineering and in the management. Because the colleges, to attract students, put up huge hoardings with smart-looking kids saying 100% placements and that and this, and poor things. When they land up in the college, it's a different situation altogether. Right. I know one leading engineering college in Telangana, in Hyderabad, one of the top 10, with a AAA plus kind of accreditation, or whatever you want to call it, affiliation or whatever. Their faculty are not able to teach in English. They're teaching engineering in Telugu. Half the class, my friend's son studied there, passed out from there. He was telling me, uncle, 3/4 of the class, it's all in Telugu. Once in a while, the lecturer shifts to English, but whereas actually the entire course is in English.
But does the market accept a Telugu trained?
No, so problem is you are dealing with an international audience. Domestically, we don't have much of a software market to speak of. We are all serving the US, the European countries and other places. And you have to be, I'm not saying that you need to be a kind of Queen's English to speak of, so to speak. But that is one part, because all your life you're making presentations to your clients, to your banks, to your employees, your own staff, your juniors, you're training them and all that. But if you're not good at it, then God bless you, because then nothing can be done about it. So what colleges started doing, ever since this entire crunch came about, industry started complaining, said we are getting students who are no good and we have to train them again. So once they recruit them, for 6 months to 1 year, these students are put on training, which means the companies cannot bill them to a kind of a client. So they are spending and they are doing the job which the engineering college should have done. Okay, we speak of robotics, AI and all that kind of stuff, but Many colleges fancifully claim they have that. But what about the faculty? Most of them are retired faculty from institutes of eminence, few of them. But the teaching faculty, leave alone the HODs, are all either ex-students from the same college or who have been picked up from other places. The same thing is there in medicine, by the way. There's a huge crunch of faculty in medicine. But medicine has a different set of priorities because there's an era of specialization. You do an MBBS, then you do an MD, then you do something else, then you do something else. Finally, by the time you're in the job market, you're 35. But they had experience of working in a hospital. Here it's not like that. The boy or the girl passes out from an engineering college, does a BTech, they're not sure whether they should do an MTech. Some of them get into an MTech because it's very tough to get into an MTech. At least at the IIT level, you need to write a GATE exam and other things. So if you ask any student, and ask many students who went into engineering, especially ones who are from not well-to-do families, I asked them, in Telugu I asked them, Enduk cherna, why did you join? And they're saying, sir, fees, scholarship vastadi, fees vastadi. I felt very bad. Other day I had a boy who came to deliver and I wrote about him. Excellent boy. 12 o'clock in the night, it was raining, big basket order. And he came to my residence and delivered at 12 in the night. We were supposed to deliver between 9 and 11. It was pouring. Poor guy was in a raincoat but drenched totally. I called him inside and I offered him, I said, just wait till the rain subsides and then you can go. I went down to my parking area to collect it from him. He said, no sir, I have to deliver 2 more. Then I asked him the question. I said, what do you do? He said, I'm an engineering student from a college near Kompally. I'm in the final year now, 4th year. So I said, oh, wonderful. How are you doing there? He said, good sir, scholarship, the fees comes from the government, but for the last few years, the government fees has been erratic. Now, many of the colleges are not able to sustain this. For every so-called good college, there are about 50 of them who are not good. And that is the problem today. According to the data that I have with me, it says that Telangana colleges produce around 83,000 engineering graduates every year, okay, of which the least demand is for civil and mechanical, least. Whereas actually there is a booming construction industry, okay, there is a booming, say, car industry, automobile industry, defense sector, which requires people with a mechanical bent of mind. But people don't want to go for it because all these youngsters have been enamored by this software job. Even when they want to get married and they put it on the matrimonial profile, software compares with say mechanical or a civil, civil mechanical, theek hai, kind of pakkan vettandi. We'll speak to software.
Just an article on the 1st of November that there's quite a lot of staff, especially from mechanical and civil departments, who are also becoming delivery boy executives. Exactly. They are doing rapido deliveries and all. So it's not just the students, so technically it is also the faculty who are having to do side jobs because their core field, which is mechanical or something, is not paying them sufficiently.
I give you an example. I think there are only 7,000 seats in civil and mechanical. Okay. And there are electrical and electronics doesn't have demand. Imagine, that's an industry again where India is seeing a huge boom.
Semiconductor pushes hard.
Yeah, huge. You're seeing semiconductor industry where it's coming up, chip manufacturing. It requires a very, very high level of specialization. But the question is why? So Revant Reddy has come up with this formula saying he'll start a skill university. Now my question is, why should the state government be doing a job which is supposed to be done by the colleges? I can understand the super specialization, as I gave an example of the medicine, where after you do an MBBS, you decide which field do you want to get into. You want to get into gynecology or oncology or ophthalmology or whatever you want to get into, orthopedics or whatever it is, cardiology and all that. So the problem is very simple. The problem is how do you ensure that you have kind of a quality students coming out every year. And I often use this Gannekaras concept, Cheruku Rasam, what we call in Telugu. No matter how, if you get a bad cane, no matter what you do in putting ginger and lime and all that and trying to spice it up, the juice is going to be bad because the input is bad. I've gone to engineering college. For 17 years with my previous company, one I was print media, I was there. I had gone for recruitment. That time it was MBA students. We used to recruit only MBA students. Out of 100 students, even in the leading colleges, number one university, Usmania or HCU, we used to get 1 or 2 students who are good. That's it. And I used to ask them sometimes, why do you do an MBA? And one guy came up with a brilliant answer. He said, sir, we get more dowry. Imagine, that is, the guy was truthful about it. This is a sad fact that, why are you doing engineering? Parents have this thing, what I call often that, unrealized dream. I haven't got into an IIT or an IIM. I want my child to do that. which is why you see a rat race to get into IIT. And what happens? 23% drop out by second year. Most of them from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. 23 because they've been only taught get into IIT, but IIT is a different cup of tea, man. It's where you're competing with the best of the best. The pressure is enormous. There are quizzes every day. There are exams every day. You literally have to be kind of running all the time. Same goes with IIM. You're seeing suicides there too. It is like Abhimanyu's Chakravarti. You have been only taught how to get in. The Narayanas and Chaitanyas of the world teach you only how to get in, not how to get out. That getting out is not taught. And getting out with what the industry wants. Ask any big company. Leave the software company. I think the software is hyped up too much. But I'm just giving you an option. That is an industry. We can't help it. That is where the demand is. But the localized demand, as I remember once Mr. Narayan Murthy himself said, if everybody becomes an engineer, who will drive the trains? Who will fly the planes? Correct. We need people. See, we have the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Yojana, which trains youngsters in carpentry, electrical, plumbing. Nobody wants to go for it. Everybody wants a software job. Everybody wants to sit in the thing. Everybody wants to earn in lakhs. But I'm telling you, the plumbing guy and the electrician guy and the AC guy earns more than these guys. But there is no glamour associated with the jobs. The primary problem I think the state government started is by giving these freebies in terms of the fee reimbursement. It should be given to genuine students. Across the board, doesn't work. Second, faculty. Faculty is paid pathetic salaries. They are not paid salaries regularly. There is no control from the so-called labor department, which is there. They'll say it's nothing to do with us, labor. Why should labor be connected to the engineering college? Or even AICTE or Usmania University or JNTU. How are they checking whether the faculty is paid the salaries they are supposed to be paid? Are they paid every month on time? No. Many cases their salaries have been due for months. And they are given salaries on paper and the money is taken back, half the money is taken back.
So would that mean that a genuine faculty will get demotivated to teach, or do you feel that good people are not going to join the faculty when they know the scenario?
See, it's a two-way scenario. A faculty would love to teach a group of students who are highly skilled, enthusiastic. Okay. Now tell me, why is it that IIT has such great faculty? Their salary is pathetic, even their salary, but they get paid regularly, by the way. IITs get a salary on the time, on the dot of first. But the salary levels compared to say an MIT or a Cornell or any of the top engineering colleges abroad is nothing. But they stay in an IIT because of pure passion. The IIT professors are there for the passionate part of it. They want to make a difference. Their students, when they pass out from the college whom they taught, earn 10 times or 20 times what they are earning as a professor. The same goes for MBA, by the way. So the question is, as you said, private engineering, we had this article in the Times of India day first today, saying that private engineering college faculty are now going around as delivery boys. Right. I spoke of a case of a student to you, but here's a faculty also doing it. They are a Swiggy or a Zepto, they're doing that job because the salary is not coming. Right. So after the work hours, they're doing this job to earn some money. I think the way it should be done, Adithya, if you ask me, is to shut down half the engineering colleges. And Revant Reddy is right. Shut it down. Skill University is a great idea. How many you can train every year? 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Adani has given 100 crores. Somebody else, Mega Engineering, has given 200 crores. They will all give the money. But money won't get you the great faculty. They're saying, oh, we'll get Google and we'll get Microsoft. They'll bring in the skills, but you need teachers. We all remember our teachers. I studied in a government school, but today, if you ask me how did I get into communicate so well, is because of my English teacher. God bless her, she's no more now, Farkunda Karimullah Model High School, Usmania University. I was taught by her. She trained me in the art of public speaking. But how many of today's professors, how many of today's teachers are that dedicated? We are not having those dedication anymore. That's a sad fact.
Right. So, but isn't there also this issue where there's not abundant faculty in the market? So there was a tendency in quite a lot of universities, actually colleges, that some of your pass outs from the masters, take them, make them into assistant professors, and they in turn are people who couldn't get jobs elsewhere. So that is why they joined the same college. So don't you think there was a vicious cycle where you ended up recruiting guys who were anyway not going to get jobs, and then they were not going to teach much, so students would not get placed, and eventually it's a loop where the entire system collapses?
Exactly. One begets the other. You don't have great students, you will not get great faculty, because some of them come to teach because of pure passion, as I told in case of IIT. Imagine a scenario in IIT where you don't get great students, you get average students. What will be the motivation for the professor to teach such students? Because he knows whatever I do, there's only a certain level I can bring them up. Right. Okay? Because the guy getting into IIT or an IIM is already at 99 percentile. Right. Okay? The best of the best. From there, they had to only do an additional bit to make them great for the market. But they're ready for the market. They get placements. But here the problem is the so-called placement season, 6 months before that, these guys start, or 1 year before that, there's a new fad now. It's actually not new. It's pretty old, 10 years old now, which is interview skills, communication skill. You can't teach a guy communication, or it can't teach a girl communication skills in the final year. It has to come from the school level. The failure starts from there. Second part of it, be like ICWA. Okay, the chartered accountants are limited in number when they pass out every year. The only limited number of students, you must have heard stories where people say, I've written 9 times, I still haven't become a CA, full CA. I'm still in the final. I've got 2 more papers to finish or 3 more papers to finish. I've written extremely well. I had my own brother-in-law who was like that. Finally, he passed out after 11 years. He's doing very well for himself now as a chartered accountant. But he took that time because they were very clear, no matter how well you write, their output was matched only to what the industry actually had positions. Previously they used to only practice. They never used to go to corporates. Now you have chartered accountants working for corporate as business consultants, as analysts, or whatever it is. So the problem now is very simple, is you ensure that only so many students pass out as much as the industry needs. Then there will be an extremely heavy competition to take those students, which is what happens in an IIT. Because you are having only that many seats, the industry also knows that on day 0 they need to be there, or day 1 they need to be there. After day 1 they will not get any good students. This is the problem, and I can tell you from my own experience. I'm a hotel management graduate who got into journalism. When I did my hotel management from IHM Chennai after writing the first national entrance exam, I asked for Hyderabad, they gave me Chennai, like a typical army posting. But the time I passed out, the fees was $730 or something like that per half year. Now it's lakhs, even in government college. Today, they are finding it tough to fill students. IHMs are across the country because numbers multiplied. Every state has an IHM. Some have 2 of them. And what happens, the industry is not a great place. Service industry, especially the hotel industry, doesn't pay well, at least in the initial years. And not everybody becomes a top chef or a top manager. And as a result, what happens is the demotivation, long working hours and all that. The students go into a service industry, they go into a call center. That is not, the government is spending a huge amount of money training you not to become a call center employee. Not that that job is bad, that job is also good, but you have been trained for that. You have been trained for a service. Same with engineering. What I suggest is, what Revant Reddy says is great, and I think somebody else said this before, close down half the engineering colleges which don't have students. Don't give them opportunities. Enough, let them convert it into a real estate project and do whatever they want with it. Encourage only the top 20 out of the 83,000 students you are passing out every year. Reduce that to about 30,000. That's it. This fad has to go. Engineering, if after doing engineering, I have to go to US. That is the only aim they have. What they do in US is a different story.
This brings it to the next part as well, where one, you're saying about how do we get good students, good quality outputs from it. But then as you mentioned in the last bit, that a student would actually say that when you ask them what are you going to do next, they'll say, I want to go to the US, I want to become something, I need to join Google. No one really says, I want to become a faculty. There's very few people. Maybe you'll find that in arts, you'll find that in those kind of subjects, commerce, that they may say, I want to get into academia. In engineering, we don't see people saying, I want to get into academia. So what can you do to get right kind of faculty? Is it just pay, or is there something else?
Beyond pay. Pay is one part of it, which is extremely important. Nobody will work for free. Okay, as they say in English, if you pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys. Simple as that. Second, PhDs. In India, before this PhD, you had to copy from somebody else's book. Now it's ChatGPT is there. You can just do your PhD in 2 years, 2.5 years. I'm just joking, but I'm just saying that is how it's going to be. The problem is, how many engineering graduates finally do PhDs? Because the moment you start thinking of PhD, automatically what happens, you're said, okay, you're bracketed as a faculty. Whereas if you look at the top-notch industries in US, or if you look at even the best of the organizations, and they take organizations like Google itself, for example, or Amazon, they have number of employees who have done PhDs, who develop products for them, who develop services for them. Take Elon Musk's company. Even you look at space ventures that he's doing, so many hundreds of PhDs are there. Why they just go to the biotech park here in Hyderabad on Shamirpet and outskirts? You will find so many PhDs working there. Right. That means there is a motivation, but the problem is twofold. One is too many students are being taken in, too many students are passing out, and the quality is pathetic because they are not being taught what the industry needs. And the industry says, I don't want to take such people. And the biggest scam, as I told you, is 100% placement, where offers are given. And some years back, I think 3-4 years ago, a few employees of a major software company were arrested. I'm talking about the top 3. One of the top 3 were arrested because they gave fake offer letters. The offers were not there, but they had colluded with the college management to show 100%, who wanted to show 100% placement. And I think parents have to stop this. And maybe city-bred parents or city parents who are living in the city are used to seeing the truth. But the kids who come from villages, who have that aspiration of going to US, nothing wrong with it. They should, if you ask me, they should go and work in the best of the places. But the problem is, they spend a huge amount of money. They're being given a dream, saying you go to Canada, you get a PR, you go to Australia, you'll get a PR, you go settle down there. This is all they have. If you look at the world economy today, India is among the top 3, and you are going to a country which is in the top 10 because you want to stay in a foreign country. Your market value goes up in the marriage market. It's as simple as that. I think it's a chicken and egg situation now. Which came first? You will need great students, but limit the number of students. Revant Reddy Skill University is a great idea, but that is only for upgradation of skills.
So as a final question now, if you see in the past, the government can be attributed to the drastic increase in the number of students, number of colleges, especially in southern states, where government is doling out thousands and thousands for lakhs and lakhs of students across multiple years. And now, of course, now the Chief Minister of Telangana has actually said that, okay, maybe it's about time that we start revoking these kind of things. So how much do you think should government actually involve in the market dynamics and trying to, play this kind of a game?
Government has a big role. If you ask me, government indirectly has a big role. It's the universities that have a bigger role. Let me ask you, how much audit does JNTU do of the so-called NAC accredited colleges? The NAC itself is a big scam. You know that, NAC, AAA plus and all that kind of stuff is a big scam. We saw that, how the reports are manipulated and they themselves are taking corrective actions now. So my question to Revant Reddy or whoever, it is not the government is directly at fault, but the universities are at fault. Usmania has a very few engineering colleges under its belt. It's mostly JNTU on the other side. What is JNTU doing? Are they auditing? They just go for naam ke vaste. They just go there, announce beforehand, we are coming for an audit. They'll be prepared with all documentation. You do surprise checks. You check quality of students who are passing. At the end of second year, third year, check it. You have no strict detention system. Anybody goes, anybody will get out. The colleges are only interested in making money. Let's be very clear about it. Okay, that is a sad fact, and I think that entire dream is coming crashing down now. Last week we saw a plane load of immigrants from India who illegally entered US were sent back by the US government, and the US government says there are thousands waiting to be sent back. I'm not saying don't go again, but my point is very simple. Look at the ICWM model. Okay, the company secretary's model or the chartered accountant's model only pass out a limited number of students which the market can absorb. Don't put too many guys out there in the market who are running around like what we famously call the United States of Amirpet, where every other software student after doing engineering sometimes goes there to learn something.
After spending 4 years and lakhs of money, they go there to Amirpet for a 10,000 rupees course.
Exactly. So that means either Amirpet is doing a good job, okay, or I've been told there are faculty from IITs who come and teach there. They paid enormous amount of money. So they are bridging that skill gap, which the colleges are not able to do, which is a kind of a horrendous situation. I mean, I don't understand where we are finally going to land up.
So thank you so much for your valuable insights on this topic. So you heard what's going on, and I'm sure even you'll be having people in your family who have been talking about engineering and who have been seeing the big dreams of a better life. What do you think about the status? What do you think about government's involvement in these kind of educational segment? Please let us know in the comments below. We'll catch up again. Namaste and Jai Hind.